Hi, my name is Grant Botma, and I'm the founder of Stewardship. Stewardship is actually a group of 4 different companies, and managing the finances of these companies can be confusing. But I know how to do it in a way that's simple and makes sense. So I'm going to explain it in this video using coffee as an illustration. Now, sometimes when you're running your business finances, you're scared of what can happen with taxes, to make sure you have enough money set aside for the future, and how do you manage cash flow? We'll talk about all of those things in this video. Let's jump in. Okay, so here's what we've got. I've got a bunch of coffee beans, and these are going to represent the income that we have or that we make as a company. And now we have to determine, what are we doing with this income and how do we manage these finances? So a common mistake that I see a lot of people make is they have all of their income go into one account, their operating account, and they manage everything out of that kind of willy-nilly. Just as they have an expense, they pull money out, and as they have income, they put money in. And one of the worst things that I see people do is they even manage their personal household expenses out of their business operating account. Don't do that. That's a big problem. It'll cause nightmares for your accountant. It's a bad idea if you ever get audited for tax purposes, and it's an inefficient way of running your business finances. Now, what we need to do is segment. I know that can sound kind of intimidating. How do I organize things? That seems like a lot of work. But I promise this is going to be very simple. We're only going to segment into 4 separate sections. It's not going to take a ton of work, and it'll add organization and efficiency to your business finances. Here we go. Now, the first section that we need to have in our kind of categories for our business income is your personal income, profit. Now, this is first for a reason. You do a ton of work. It is a lot of energy and effort to maintain and operate your business. As a result, you need to see fruits from that labor. It's important for you to feel you winning with all this work that you're putting in. So I strongly recommend that you have a profit account or profit segmentation that you're constantly putting money into. Even if you don't make a ton of money, find a way to just put a few cents in there. Make it a habit so that the first thing you do is you pay yourself for the work that you're doing. A really bad idea for a lot of business owners, and business owners all over the country do this, and it doesn't work well for them, is they kind of just operate their business expenses as the expenses come in, and then they wait till the end of the quarter or the end of the year and say, what's left over? And then they take their profit from there. Don't do that. Determine what the minimum amount of profit you need is to operate your life. So again, if I'm getting paid all of this money, I want to have a habit of putting money away for profits. The very first thing I'm going to do. So even if I don't have a ton of income, I'm going to put something there. But in an ideal situation, I've decided I need X amount of dollars to live off of with my family, a bare minimum. I'm going to put that minimum into the profit category. And I know this is what I'm doing with my business money first. Okay, the next category that you want to have your business expenses divvied into is savings. That is extremely important to save. Sadly, so many businesses around the country did not have money saved. And when the coronavirus pandemic shutdown stuff all happened and they couldn't operate their business or earn some income, they were in trouble. All those businesses that did have money saved were able to live a little more peace of mind, but then also take advantage of any other new business opportunities as soon as the market and things started opening up again. Savings is a big deal. A question I get all the time is, how much money should you save? And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure you're doing this. There's no right number here or wrong number, and it's going to be different for everybody's business. But like profit, that we have a habit of putting money into profit first, we also need to have a habit of saving money every single time we have money come in. All right, now the third category that you need to put your money into is a donation account. You want to have some money that you have available to use to make an impact on your community. So I went to a small Bible college here in Arizona. A lot of my friends have nonprofits that they are working for, that they started. Many friends of mine are working at churches and are pastors. And when you become a business owner, so many people know, hey, you're a business owner, maybe you can donate money. You probably need a tax write-off, correct? Well, that's not necessarily true. We don't need tax write-offs, but giving money away and donating is a great way for us to make an impact on our community through our business. And when you have money that you've set aside for donation every single time money comes in, when one of those people asks for a donation, you just look in the account. If there's money there, great, you can give money away. But if there's not money there, you can tell them, hey, we don't have any money in our donation account right now. It makes it really easy to say yes or no to some of these conversations that you have with people in your community. So when you have income, make sure that you're setting some money aside for donations as well. Okay, so the last category that you need to have some of your income set aside for, and this is super important, is taxes. Yes, a very large percentage of businesses end up failing at some point because they made money, they didn't set aside money for taxes, and the IRS comes knocking and they don't have any money left. That turns into tax liabilities, that turns into fines and levies and things in such a way that require you to shut your business down. Don't be that person. Make sure that you're planning for taxes that you're gonna have to pay on the income that your business is producing. Now you're probably wondering at this point, Grant, how much do I set aside in each category? How much for profit? How much for savings? How much do I set aside for donations? And really, how much do you set aside for taxes? You want to make sure you're being wise there so that you can pay enough to the IRS and you have enough there but not too much. Well, again, it's a lot about habits and behaviors. That's what we're trying to figure out here for a business and ourselves as business owners. So just the fact that you're setting your money aside in these 4 categories is a huge win to start. And each of these are going to be different based on your situation. I can give you, though, a book recommendation. There's a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and he talks a lot in detail about how to segment your money and even goes into percentages of where you should start out, depending on how long you've been in business and maybe some details about your business. I can tell you though that for my business, we're typically setting aside around 25% of our income in there for taxes. So now that you've put some money aside for profit, you've put some money aside in savings, and you've put money aside in donation and taxes, there's still a lot of beans left in the middle. You have this income. What's that for? Well, this just sits in the regular operating checking account to pay for the expenses it is to run the business. So if you've got your rent, if you've got your utilities, if you've got internet, if you've got your payroll, the everyday expenses, every month-to-month expenses, sometimes year-to-year expenses it takes to keep your doors open, that's going to come out of this operating account section. Now you can operate this a number of different ways. For some people, having 5 separate checking accounts for each category, including the main operating, is going to be helpful. Where for other people, having all those accounts can be confusing. And all you really need to do though is segment it. So whether you segment it in actual separate checking and savings accounts or segment it on an Excel sheet or a Post-it note, it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure things get separated. Now for me, whenever the profit comes in, that typically gets transferred into my personal checking account. We do have a separate savings account for the business and we put money aside there. We do have money set aside for taxes in a separate tax account, but for donations, we just earmark that and we leave it in the operating account. But we know that there's a certain number of dollars that are still in the operating account that are, again, earmarked and set aside for donation. All right, so this is going to happen every single time that you get income, or at the very least on a month-to-month and maybe quarter-to-quarter, if that's how you're gonna do it, basis. But you want to make sure this is a regular thing that's happening. Focus in on these areas because it makes it a whole lot simpler, easier to manage, and at least keep track of in your head. This right here, these 4 squares, this is how you manage business finances. But let's say you want to take it to the next level. There's one square that I really want to focus in on. That is savings. Now, would it surprise you if you heard that the #1 thing that big businesses around the country are actually making their money on has nothing to do with their actual business operations? Did you know that one of the #1 income producing things for big businesses like Starbucks and McDonald's is their real estate holdings, their investments? Yeah, it doesn't have to do with making burgers or making coffee. It has to do with the investments that they've made. Businesses that do a great job of segmenting their money as it comes in and that have done a great job consistently putting money into savings, they take the excess savings and start investing. Here's how this looks. Let's say you continue to keep putting money into savings. That's a great thing. Good job, well done. But at some point, your savings is going to exceed 6 months of your business expenses. There's no need to keep more than 6 months of your business expenses in a regular checking or savings account. At that point, it's just excess money that should probably be going to work for you. You should probably be putting it into another account to earn interest, or do like these other big businesses do, and that is use some of their savings to invest. Now let's look again at this savings square. Let's assume here that this is 6 months of your expenses for your business. How cool is that? Peace of mind to be able to know that you have 6 months worth of your business expenses set aside in a savings account. If another pandemic, if another emergency, if other issues arise where you're unable to have income for a period of time, you'll be fine. All of your expenses can be paid for at least 6 months. Beautiful. But what about this extra? What do you do with this? This is where you invest. This is where you can consider purchasing property. Maybe you just want to take that money and put it into the market and have some ownership in other businesses by purchasing stocks or lots of stock in mutual funds. Maybe there's another business that's out there that's being operated by a friend of yours that you would like to invest into to help get them going. You can provide capital and use that capital for a return. That return, if done wisely, can end up being a great source of income for your business, and sometimes an even bigger source of income than the actual good or service that your business was created for. So to illustrate this, we're going to turn these coffee beans, the investment section of our savings, the excess that we have in our savings, we're going to turn it into something different. Now, this is not going to be a coffee tutorial. What we've done is we've taken some of these coffee beans and we've ground them up. We've done something different with them, right? And now we put them into a tool that can be useful for us. And when we add something to them, a little bit of water, that water goes through the coffee that has been ground up and now drops into our Chemex. We've taken some of our savings that we've set aside and we've done something different with it. And now we have some dividends. We've invested. We have something new in return, and now we can choose to do whatever we want with that. We can drink this tasty coffee and use it to fuel us to continue making more income within our business. We could take those dividends, we could take that extra interest from the investment and put it back into our operating account to divvy out some more, or we can do different things with it. You can invest back into your business. You can invest into real estate. You can invest into stock markets, other businesses. Either way, when you do stuff like this, you can take your business finances to another level. If you're a business owner, if you appreciated this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, but go ahead and follow me on social media at Grant Botma on Instagram and Twitter. I'm posting stuff like this all the time. We'll see you guys later.